talk for a second. No.
I don't even know what to talk about.
To test your mic. You're not being
okay.
It's not important.
You're just talking.
Hello.
Then your normal voice, like you're going to talk.
Okay.
I wanna be a rock star.
Yeah.
You're okay. You don't have to touch it. You just have to talk.
I want to touch it so bad.
Tell me about your favorite breakfast.
And there's our cold open.
There's your little short right there. I want to touch it so bad. I want to touch it so bad.
Grab it.
Welcome back to more Artistry Unearthed. We are Cryptic Tattoo and Social Gallery in Springfield, Missouri. And with us is a Cryptic's own tattoo artist, very talented artist. Goes by Deadhead Designs online. Rian Gilliam.
Hello.
How are you?
Yay! We need to have applause thing.
We can all just do little
Golf claps?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good answer.
So it's awesome to have you. Thank you for doing this. We know it's a big ask to hey, we're going to put a camera and a big light and a big TV, so you have to watch yourself.
Nah, it's a vibe. I'm just gonna not look at. I'm gonna block it out, and then it'll be all right.
We're not going to pick on. We're not going to pick on you too hard. But most of the guests were like, I can turn the TV off. It's mostly for me, so I can, because I produce while I'm on camera, And
Gotta make sure everything looks good.
But once you kind of get into the flow of the conversation, you tend to forget that there's a camera and a microphone. So.
Yeah,
Mind your P's and Q's. Don't say anything about, no, I'm just joking.
Can I say the F word or not?
Oh yeah, no, you absolutely. No, yeah. There's a reason why we tend to send these videos off to new people. Like review it first before it goes live, because you may have forgotten there's a camera watching you.
Yeah. Good to know.
So
Good to know.
David picks his nose in every episode.
Yeah.
It's like, where's Waldo? You have to find it.
That's beautiful.
I mean, we know. So does Haley. Her license
Haley
is
probably
literally
actually
her
does.
picking her nose.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
That was
It
something
is.
that she had when in the pen click. She would start the show with picking her nose every episode.
She's
so.
goofy. Love her.
But we brought you on. It's an interesting story how we got you, because you were a part of Clever Kaiju, my other art collective, visual and art and animation design studio education platform. Clearly,
awesome.
The name is getting longer and longer. But either way, you came to one of our events. We did a thing at the zoo where we walked around and did figure drawings of animals. It's something that we do every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually a big hit. You and your significant other had come that year, last year. And we got rained out for a lot of it, but it was still a lot of fun.
Still.
But it was a great time because
I got a chance to look at everybody's sketchbooks, hang out, talk a little bit. It was nice.
Right.
Under the awning. or
Everybody's
whatever.
slightly damp sketchbooks.
And it was for the most part, we escaped the rain until you told me that you didn't have your studio key. So I had to go out in the rain, and you were wet too. You had umbrellas.
I
though.
offered you umbrellas.
You had 3 umbrellas, like
I
a
cleared my
mom,
car
ready
out.
to pass them out for everybody.
Please. I was like passing them through the fence so I didn't have to pay to get in the zoo. Please take umbrellas.
Right.
Wow.
You're
But
so prepared. I appreciate it.
But the damage was already
So
done.
I was there
Yeah.
in spirit and an umbrella, but I didn't come in.
It's okay,
But
I forgive you.
During that time, I had a moment to kind of get to know some of the people that had come out, and I got to know you. And, I got to do my regular brag, like, oh, yeah, I'm co-owner of a tattoo studio. No big whoop. I'm just a tattoo artist, which is a huge hit in bars. At the zoo, a different response. I mean, oh, cool.
It was pretty cool.
Especially from you.
It's like,
me too. I'm like, no kidding. And you told me that you filled me in on the location that you were working at the time. But I didn't really go into a whole lot of detail. But you were an artist. You had just kind of started off. How long have you been tattooing?
about 2 years now. I'm rounding up to about 2.5 coming up, I think. Yeah.
Because I remember about a year ago, I was looking at your work and I'm like, man, like that you had like this red onion, like it was
It's a pomegranate.
It was a
pomegranate. Sorry, my memory sucks. But I remember it looked awesome because you don't see a whole lot of just solid red line tattoo work,
It was a fun
like
one.
anymore. But it was a good, very beautiful piece. Yeah, pomegranate. You're right.
I finally got to see that one a couple months ago too. It healed really well. It's still doing good. Needs a couple touch-ups.
But it was impressive for being only a year in, and it was a month later that we did another event here at Cryptic where Haley was doing one of her apprenticeship tattoos, and we were monitoring and watching like we're supposed to. But we also had a team of people that were just like, "Hey, do you mind if people pop in and kind of see you and ask you questions, for
I was
for
such
the
a creep
education
about
stuff.
it too.
And you were such a creep about it.
Yeah.
But you were a very delightful creep. You're just
Like, what are you doing?
I accosted her at that point because I saw her calcifer tattoo on her wrist and I was like, hey, who did that?
Right.
And she was like, I did it. And usually when people say that, you can tell. Because usually when people are like, oh, I did that myself. And it's like, oh, I can tell you got a machine for like $49 on Amazon and you had some
With
like
ink.
Doritos and whiskey in the kitchen and then you had a fun time, right? But like, no, this is like a unreal tattoo and it's a nice tattoo. And I thought it was cool because I love Miyazaki stuff. But then I was like conspiring at that point of, can we get her in for a guest spot?
Right.
And maybe
So-
we'll turn into other things.
clearly the seed was planted a bit earlier than, and to find out that at that time you were in between shops, there had been a huge falling out where you were previously, and we were in the market for, well, we had the room to bring on another artist. We had just brought on Alexis before that, right?
I think she would
Mhm.
have been here like a month or something.
Yeah, she'd
before I
only
got
been
here.
just-
She came in mid-June. Yeah.
Right.
Like she was just finishing up the trial period.
So it just fell into place that you were looking for a spot, and I had previous knowledge of you mostly through the Discord and through your artwork in general, and then learning that you were a tattoo artist. I was like, and I remember mentioning it, but it was Kelsey, like not even like you stuck around late, like you planned to leave earlier that day, but you stuck around late because you were sitting. I thought you had left, and you
Oh
were
no,
still
I was
sitting out
totes
for-
late to wherever I was supposed to be.
But you
because
were locked in conversation
Yeah.
with Ryan, and by the end of it, like we looked at our chats, and you're just like, so guys, hear me out. And it's like,
I'm honored.
look, Studio Mom is all about this girl. I mean, and it's like I'm already biased because she's a kaiju, and we had already brought in Haley, who was a kaiju, and who I already had been in love with for a long time. I mean, with
Hard
her
not
work.
to. She's wonderful.
You're right. So it's like, it was a dead ringer for me. It was easy for me, but yeah, it took no effort to bring you on and just to give you about a month to kind of weigh it out, see if you liked it.
And it was perfect, of course.
And I honestly, I think we learned very quickly that so long as she sticks around, I'm cool, but we had a policy that we were going to stick to. And yeah, and it's been a great experience having you on ever since. We've been really proud of you.
Same.
And I mean, and again, for only being a year in when you started, and yeah, you've grown a lot, but you've expanded. You've done a lot of different pieces, and you've done some freehand stuff here. You did your first convention was Carnival of Ink, this past weekend. Just this,
Terrifying and fun at the same time. It was so fun.
so there's a lot that's happened since August.
September.
September, August, September
Oh, yeah.
of last year. So let's dial back even further. What got you into tattooing to begin with? What inspired you?
There's a whole story. So I did my first tattoo when I was 13 years old
Oh.
on my dad.
I want to see a picture of that.
No, you don't.
I know. I want to see. I bet it's
Sorry.
better than my first tattoo.
It's so scarred. It's ridiculous. The white wouldn't go in. And of course, this was something he bought me on Temu or whatever. I think it was Wish at the time. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised it didn't get infected and his whole chest didn't fall off or something. But we did a little campfire with a north, south, east, west, kind of compass thing.
Uh-huh.
And it took 3 hours and he was so drunk by the end of it. I guess I was hurting him pretty good. And so after that, I was like, yeah, I think I want to do this. And then kind of kept pushing into it. And I got into college, kind of dropped off, or got into high school, sorry. Kind of dropped off, started working subway jobs, just through high school stuff. I got into college, and all through college, I was looking for a shop to apprentice at. It took 2 years to find one that would apprentice me. But I had a pretty good portfolio.
Weren't you doing art in college?
Yeah, graphic design, studying.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, I don't think I'll
We all
ever.
end up there.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, why did we do this?
Work in an office for 45 hours a week making
Blue-collar
brochures.
Oh, it's
could've been
so
worse.
bad. I don't think I could do that. It'd drive me
Kudos
insane.
to people who do it. You
Yeah.
gotta be fast to work in graphic design.
Yep.
Not me. I like to have everything very slow.
Mm-hmm.
But so I called 417, and Alicia picked up, and we kind of clicked on the phone, and she was like, "Yo, do you want an apprenticeship? I've only been tattooing 3 years, but you'd be my first one." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So we set something up, got it figured out, and I did a paid apprenticeship. There are red flags kind of with that, but it also worked for me.
Mhm.
Okay.
For sure. It was
And
a little bit up
there
and down.
are
but
legitimate paid
Sure.
apprenticeships.
yeah. This was just her first time, and
Mhm.
it was,
So I'm curious, like getting that set up, was there a contract laid out of
Oh, yeah.
like, this is when the payments happen, but this is what you can expect to get on your end? Or was the
Yeah.
contract primarily to protect the person that's running it?
It was to protect us both,
Both.
really. I mean, like it was a pretty okay apprenticeship, I would say, by some people's standards. Like there's been some really, really bad apprenticeships I've heard about. So, oh my gosh, I don't even know where I was.
Did it lay out like the timeline?
We were gonna go for like 11 to 12 months, so we were gonna do like a full year apprenticeship, and I believe it's been
For how long?
a year.
Okay. I
Yeah,
thought
about
you
11
said
to 12
4.
months.
Right.
Dude, I wish.
She had
I
11
learned
to
a lot
12
more.
months.
But yeah, I got finished at month 11, and I paid
Okay.
up front. But some people I know take deposits, and they do it while you're in the apprenticeship. Like you can pay while you're doing it.
Mhm.
Oh,
I did not do that. I went ahead and paid up front, but I can definitely see where that get a little bit complicated for some people.
Do you feel like you got your money's worth?
Yes, I got the license, and that was the goal. But I feel like I could have learned a little bit more, and they knew that they could have taught me more too. We talked about it, but there's no ill will. I got
Okay.
what I wanted.
Now let me run this back just a little bit. You said when you called, she said she had been tattooing for how long?
I think it was 3 years at that point.
3 years.
And I mean, she's
Okay.
good, like she's a
Alright.
good apprentice.
I
Was she-
don't,
was
I don't
she was
know.
do you
Maybe
feel like
by
she was
some
investing
people's
in you?
standards, 3 years is okay to start teaching somebody. By my standards, that's not how that should
Well,
be.
and
I
there's
did not know at the time. I
some
wish I
states
had,
have
but-
restrictions on that. Some
Right.
states say you have to be licensed for X amount of years before you're able to take on an apprentice, or you have to be like you have to have some kind of approval from the state to say yes, you're able to take on students.
Right.
Which I kind of like that idea, because then that also means that's something they can take away if you get reported as someone who's not fulfilling your end of the contract.
Right.
Then they could be like, oh, you can keep tattooing because you're fine at that. You're not
Right.
endangering people, but maybe you shouldn't be
Instructing.
Doing
running a
Yeah.
little
Right.
school here,
Right.
but yeah, there are people, I mean, like in Missouri, there isn't a rule for that. So you could be rushed through an apprenticeship in a few weeks, like I was, and then potentially take on another student after being taught nothing and charge them any amount of money you wanted. And so that would be problematic and unethical, but like that is something that could happen in the state of Missouri right now under the current.
No, absolutely.
And it definitely
it happens
happens,
all the
like,
time.
all the
but just
time.
ethically, 3 years teaching somebody that's brand spanking new to this. I mean, somebody that's 3 years into it, I'm not going to say that they don't know a lot, because there are artists out there that have been literally tattooing for 3-4 years that are incredible.
And she's a
tattoo
great
artists.
artist too. Like
Right,
I had
and
two
that's-
But
mentors
to
as well.
understand what it takes to pass on that trade to somebody else that is completely clueless on what's going on is a far stretch. And I think that most people that are 3 years that are even really good artists are not looking to take on an apprentice. They're looking to establish their career before
Right.
they go, hey, look, why don't you come and sit with me?
Mhm.
So I just wanted to understand
Sure.
that little bit teaching somebody that's brand spanking new is,
But on
is
that
a lot.
Same token, and we've seen it together, that a seasoned veteran of 20, 25 years doesn't necessarily make you a good teacher either. So
It doesn't
it's
make
like,
you a good tattooer either.
and so it's like it's a fine line. There's both sides are absolutely valid, because both sides can be true, and that's hard. That's why it's so hard. So naturally, when somebody's like, "Yeah, I had to pay for my apprenticeship out for, how much did it cost you?"
So up front, it was $6,000. And then
Okay.
over the course of the next year, I paid another $4,000 into it. So
Okay.
I spent about
So
10
you
grand
paid
overall.
10,000 for 11 months.
So it's actually refreshing to hear that you felt like it was actually a pretty decent experience.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
at
the
the very
women were
least, your
nice,
mentor
everybody
was
was cool.
transparent with you and honest with
Yeah.
you. And I mean, and that alone is actually
That's a plus.
that is a
good.
plus.
on
Like
top
that
of
actually
that,
is a bit
like,
refreshing.
I had a second mentor as well, and she had been in the business. She rounded her 6th year while I was tattooing with her, and she had apprentices before that, who were great artists as well. So she kind of knew what she was doing, and she was helping my first mentor through it, just because it was her first time and she was still like new to it. I think that helped a lot as well, because I could also be there more often whenever they were with their kids or something. So that helped, having two of them as well. But
That's good.
It was a
'cause
good opportunity.
Sometimes you don't even get that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're lucky to have one, let alone
Right.
to have two.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great.
I could pick their brain about it. And like Kelsey's amazing. She's an incredible artist. So.
Not me. This is a different Kelsey.
Well,
There's
I
so
mean,
many
yeah.
Kelseys.
Yeah.
There's so many Kelseys. It's the third Kelsey we've talked
No,
about.
we
too.
just talked about because we are shooting back-to-back episodes today. So we just did an interview of another of our artists, Alexis, earlier today, and we were just talking about how I chose a moniker for my social media because there was a ridiculous amount of Kelsey's tattooing.
That was a great
in
idea.
what's not even that big of a city,
Right.
Right.
and some of them are 6 years, 10 years plus established, and so it's like I don't need to be Kelsey 5 up in here. Like I'll just pick a moniker. It's fine.
So when
Kelsey
you
five.
started off, did you have an idea of what kind of tattoos you were wanting to do?
I was super big into like neo-traditional, like
Yeah.
thick lines, dark, bold stuff. And now I really like the fine line stuff, but
Yeah.
I want to get like more
win
into
every
that
time.
too.
This is like a new trend for real.
Because we
Like,
have the
It's
we
just
have the
beautiful.
means to do it now.
It's just
because
beautiful.
it's getting away from all of this American traditional stuff that was just saturating the area.
And
We
I
have the
do
chance to
love
do it.
got
American
all of these
traditional,
fine
though.
line artists that are
Yeah.
popping up
Yeah.
everywhere.
So Neotrad is what hooked me too. Like I got the bug. And
It's
the,
cool.
The
Oh,
first time
it's so
I
pretty.
saw tattoos, and I still I know who the artist is, but he's really, really big on Pinterest. And this is like way, way back where I saw a tattoo and I thought, oh, I could picture that on myself. Because growing up in rural Missouri, all I was seeing was like old military tattoos and old biker tattoos
Me too,
that
girl.
were so like tonal and blown out and sun faded that it's like you have to squint until your head and you still can't really tell what it is. And so I was like, I had no interest in that. And then I saw stuff where it's like, oh, this has flow. This has like value and tones. And, this is a beautiful piece of art. And that guy's in a very, very far away country that we'll probably never see. But then once I really started looking into tattooing, Neotrad like captured my imagination and like my artistic creativity, but you don't see it a whole lot.
Oh, dude,
Just,
Ink Master.
like-
I grew up in the era of Ink Master.
Mm.
Like
Right,
my
yeah.
whole childhood was that, and that's like kind of rough. Like as an actual professional now, it's like looking back on it, you're like, whoa. That
There's
was
a few things that are really
Whoa.
cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
learned some
But-
stuff from it too. Like there's some stuff that I really appreciate gaining from it, and people talking about stuff being tonal and people talking about letting stuff breathe. So there is some good stuff there, but there's definitely some cringy,
Yeah.
dramatic nonsense.
I got to see like what I would like doing, like
Mhm.
getting to see all the artists do their thing and everything was super
Yeah.
cool.
But
I've seen, we've been following it a lot, and we brag about you all the time because it's like you're like, guys, I'm just gonna stay home today. You're drawing. Like every minute you're here, if you're not tattooing at home, you're drawing. You're just knocking out. It's almost like you enjoy actually drawing. It's not just a job.
I've got a motivation for sure.
So-
for sure.
And a lot
It's
of the
fun,
stuff,
too.
you have a pretty wide range. You've got, in fact, some of your flash that you've drawn up, you do pages of flash. You'll have
I'm making another one right now.
what?
you
No.
you do like American traditional style or black work style with a little bit of American traditional twist, and then when you do stuff for yourself, like I have these ideas, I want to do these, or like I would even put this on myself, for example, like a piece that you're doing. You have a very neo-traditional art style.
Mm-hmm.
Did you always draw in that style before you were tattooing, or was that something that you learned for tattoos?
I was super into anime beforehand. I drew anime for years and years and years. And then whenever I started like studying art about like sophomore year, that's whenever my style kind of changed more like leaning into the tattoos because I knew I wanted to do that. So I was like, okay, I need to practice like Japanese traditional. I need to practice like I need all these traditional different like neo-trad, and I did practice some trash polka for a while, like different, just studying different styles for like ever. So
That graphic design trap, that trad polka.
Yeah.
Right.
So good.
So watching Ink Master back in the day, I definitely thought trash polka was going to be more of a thing than what it is. And I've really only ever met like a couple people that have
hey,
trash
Alexis
polka.
did one the other day.
Like,
it was awesome.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. I think it's one of those
Just so
styles
many
that
I love
it
it.
died
not
out
many
way too
people
fast.
know exists.
It's punk geometry.
I like it.
It's cool. I
It
like
looks
Yeah.
like graffiti.
I always look
almost,
for excuses to do it. But
just a whole bunch of different.
this is not as
studying
trendy
as well.
right now. It'll come back around.
I don't know. I think my art style can be like pretty bipolar. I try and try a lot
Well,
of new
that's the
things and
thing.
like
That's-
styles and stuff.
Even in kaiju, you were the same way. Like you'd have ideas. You were just not knocking out sketches. Like, and that's like, I hope you're keeping all of these in a book, like in a sketchbook,
Yes.
because we want
Unless
to
I throw
publish.
them away.
Kaiju is a publishing group. We want to publish sketchbooks, especially if some of those sketches turned into tattoos that a human being is wearing for the rest of their life. Like that would be a great testament. But I digress. It's your ability to just sit down and just crank out artwork is inspiring. Kelsey and I have talked about it a lot. Me personally, like, I don't remember ever a time drawing just because. Even when I was a kid, I always had a goal in mind. Like, I want to impress these other artists. I want to be seen as, because I thought artists, like talented kids who could draw in class, were seen. I saw them like they had superpowers, and I saw how other kids reacted to their. Oh my God, can you draw me a dinosaur? Like, I want to.
Can you draw me? It was always me.
Yeah, I want to be that kid.
Can I get a portrait?
And so it's like I always gravitated towards that. It was always my goal was to always be valued for something unique to me, and it was never just because I enjoyed it. I mean, I do, but it's also because it's all I'm really good at. So to see another artist that can just knock out content like you do, and just to just that's inspiring, especially for a tattoo studio where it's easy to get sucked into the blue collar. Who's next? What do you want? Where do you want it? Cool. And then just move on.
It's paw print.
Which it's fine. Which is fine. It's part of the job. Being a graphic designer for a few, for as long as I have, you get used to people just like not even names or faces, just like emails. Like, hey, I want this. I need it yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. And you just do the work and you move on.
It does get a little bit mind numbing, but sometimes I just like sit down. I try to like reset my brain and draw something that I want to draw. And that kind of gets the motivation going again. But it's hard to find time to even do that sometimes.
So what's your process, like your starting point? Because like I'm someone that can get, I can get like really bogged down and I'll go find like 14 references. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know, where I want to go with this. I don't know what I want to draw next. So it's like, I'll just go find 10 more references. And so then it gets to the point where I've got so many things in front of me. I don't even know where to start or how to put the elements together, how to make that flow. And I think something that you've done a lot is you've practiced that fast sketching over and over again to train your brain.
We need to come to the zoo thing.
Come to the zoo thing. That's the secret to art, guys. Come to the zoo.
You need to draw animals at the zoo, I swear.
So like what's your process and what's some advice you'd have for people that are looking to get into more of their original illustrations as opposed to like just peeling stuff off Pinterest?
Yeah. Okay. So don't peel stuff off Pinterest. Like, don't do that. I used to do that when I was a kid a lot, like just learning, like I just straight up copy somebody just to like learn how to do it.
Sure.
And it's great when you're learning, but like you have to be able to like go on, like if you're going to go on to Pinterest, pick like 30 references. And I like to mosh podge everything together and make my own reference. And I know a lot of people do that, but it's worked best for me. I learned that from a Happy D artist from like years ago.
We called it photo bashing.
So do you actually do you look at them all and think like, oh, I'm gonna, look at how the front legs go on that fox and how the ears go on this one? Or do you actually like crop pieces and smush them all together and make your own Frankenstein and then draw a fresh one?
Like that. And then I'll use that as a reference. And then from that, I'll like put it at the top of my board and then I'll draw on the bottom of my board what my reference is. So like just making something completely different that nobody has really seen. But I can't like pull that out of my brain. I have to have like something I'm looking at. Okay. Because I'm that kind of creative. I don't know. I can't like make up new things in my head. I love people that can do that. I wish I could. I have to see things and be inspired by that.
That's a lesson that even I learned only a few years ago, is that a lot of people can't. Very talented people, they can't visualize stuff in their brain.
Oh yeah, it sucks.
My brain works only in pictures and movies and clips. All of my memories are like movie clips of things that happen. They're a little fuzzy. The details are probably a little obscure, but it's like Kelsey doesn't think that way, and she's incredibly talented. And my wife even, I'm like, how do you recall memories? Like she'll talk about her dreams, or she'll like move her hands like she's picking things out of the air like that. What are you grabbing at? Like you have to see puzzles. Like you're telling me about a conversation with somebody. I'm assembling a scene. I'm filling in things that aren't there. And it's a kind of really deep kind of, and you kind of lie to yourself because you fill in details that didn't actually exist. But like for somebody like you that, has these very vivid drawings, like that's really interesting. Like every comic I ever made, the whole page is already in my head. I just have to do the work.
I cannot do that.
That's why walk-ins are difficult for me, because it's like if you put me on the spot and I don't have like a visual mental picture and a 3D model of what you're talking about, I will probably panic until I'm like, oh, okay, never mind, I got it. And now all I have to do is just do the work. But until then, until I've wrapped my head around what's expected, I'm kind of like in panic mode.
Yeah, like a paralysis kind of sets in.
It is.
Oh, what to do?
It is. It's a fight or flight, and it's and it's just like. But once I get my like, oh, okay, never mind, I got it, and suddenly all I have to do
It
is
just
just do
clicks.
the work.
Yep.
But so
No,
for
I'm
people who
saying.
have that fearless is like, we'll see what happens. I admire that.
Yeah, I
But-
think it's okay to fail, like in drawing a lot. You know, like you can
Oh, okay.
do as much as you can.
Yeah, no.
Like, like some of my stuff does not turn out good, but you guys don't see that.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
I've got another question. So,
What's up?
a lot of the stuff you draw is like, just your original stuff out of your head. And sometimes you'll draw a piece where it's like, oh, that's so cool. And it doesn't get snapped up immediately, or it doesn't get
Always.
snapped up after a month. Like, I feel like that's pretty normal, but as artists, we don't talk about it very much. So maybe we put in all this time, like, oh, I put in 12 hours. I put in 20 hours on this drawing. I poured my heart into it and nobody's snapping it up. And because sometimes, they just saw something else that grabbed their fancy and they're like, hey, I want this canned thing and I want it exactly like this. I don't want you to make something new. Oh man, what about this cool thing I have over here? So what do you do to keep yourself motivated and keep making things even when people don't snap up the cool thing you made right away?
I post about it.
You just keep
I'm like,
posting
please,
about
guys,
it.
please, can you get this design like pretty please? I really want to do it. And then I go and make new designs because I need that like kick again to keep feeling motivated. Like I
Right.
got to give myself a little bit of serotonin to keep pushing. But Chevy, my friend on Facebook, taught me that like everything will find a home. Like eventually, like there's pieces that you'll have for years that will sit up there forever that you love. But
You're
just the
still
right person
early
has
in
to
your
come.
career.
You just have to come along. It'll
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. Well, we all have drawers full of stuff, and it's like people come in, they want their little like Pinterest little stickers and
Little
whatnot,
guys.
or you'll only see them during flash events, but then eventually they're going to be like, I've come here and I've invested my time and energy in you. It's like this is an experience for me. This is like therapy for me. What do you want to do? I'm like, oh, well, I have this drawer full of
are
ideas.
relished
So many.
clients
Yeah,
because those are far and few between. Because you got to understand where a lot of this came from. I mean, everything's always been flash, 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 and it's the simplicity of it, all the American traditional stuff, things like that. Nowadays, everything has evolved so much that anymore people aren't trained to go, hey, I want this original piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
They like looking at it, but that's just not what they're geared
Right.
for. And you'll probably find that most of your career, that's probably what you'll end up doing. Not that you won't do originals, because originals are absolutely the best. But it's hard to find those clients that are willing to just, let me take that original piece and slam it on my body somewhere.
It's
because
also
it
a
looks
budget
great.
issue because sometimes people just
Sure.
want a tattoo and you can be like, oh, but there's a flash sale and I can get this little thing that's canned
Right.
for like $100. And
Right.
Yeah.
No, you're
versus like,
absolutely right.
oh, do you want to design like, a leg sleeve that has flow and has all these elements that I appreciate?
I mean,
It's
sometimes
hard to find.
and I've learned too, sometimes it's literally freebieing a piece that you really that you've spent that time on, and you just like, look, just give me a canvas to put it on. It won't cost you nothing. Just give it to me.
Or wildly discounted.
Oh, and I do
You
that
know?
to my friends all the time. I'm like,
So-
just please let me do it.
That way, you're getting that piece out there, and people are seeing what you're fully capable of doing, not just
And like sometimes you
hand-drawing,
need
but-
it. Like I feel like I'm at this kind of like weird. I don't even know how to explain it. Like I need to do more pieces so that people can see what I can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But
Like-
again,
like
We were
bigger
just talking about
pieces,
this
like-
yesterday because Ryan does so much illustrative black and gray, and it's
all
gorgeous.
tiny.
But like, I think some of it is that people haven't seen her work in color, and she can work in color, but because people don't see her work in color, and she doesn't post
We
it,
were just talking.
then they don't ask for it. So
all
then
you
she doesn't
gotta
have
do
anything
is
to
change
post.
the
So-
hue and saturation.
Get that gradient map in there.
Just put
all
the
you gotta
picture of the black and gray tattoo you did into Procreate and color over it and be like, look, you
this
should have
is
gotten
what
it
I
in
can do,
color.
right?
That's
No.
literally what I
No,
do when I make color
But
pieces.
is that the advice you'd give, David, for somebody wanting to try a new style that they don't have represented on their
If
social media
you
yet,
have
is
not
to-
honestly, if you have not done something that you would like to do, find you I guarantee you there are probably tens of thousands of people that if you said, you know what, I want to do this and it's free to you, if you come and get it, you're gonna have them. Your
It'll be sold in
inbox
2
is gonna be
seconds.
No,
full.
Yeah.
I'm about to do that with the night piece.
because it says free.
right.
And But
I mean, tell everybody
Or
that
you could
you
even-
paid
But-
like $800 for it, but you know.
You
But
could do
you
a
can-
reduced day
you
rate
can-
too, just to
you
like
could-
cover your expenses and your dinner, and
It-
be like, I just need to get.
you
this
could
out
just
there.
go
Right.
and say, look, just all I require is a tip. Whatever you
Yeah.
feel
Whatever
is
you got.
whatever you feel is good. That's all I'm asking.
Bring me a coffee.
You know, bring me a coffee. Yeah, bring me a coffee and a donut. I'm good. Just
Right,
let
that's a
me
good day.
tattoo this. And I guarantee you that if you got one good solid colored piece that you really are adamant about, and you do that for next to nothing, you're gonna get somebody.
Right.
And then it's
hope
gonna
so.
put it out there. And then, I mean, that's your best advertisement.
Yeah.
Those people are gonna walk around and people are gonna stop and ask them, "Where did you get that done?" "Oh, I got it done here."
Right. And they don't
But
have to
you-
know that you
Yeah.
spun a deal. I mean,
True.
just like I've done pieces for half the cost. Be like, yeah, just tell them that you paid extra.
Definitely done that before.
And people are like, no, I'm going to tell them what I paid, what I think it's worth. And it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, you
And,
tell it.
you know,
Have your
But
client.
like,
tell them
I
what it's
never
worth.
would have gotten to do that piece that won an award if it hadn't been for a situation like that, because that was easily a 15-hour piece that was only like this big. And so it's
Right.
like,
Insane.
nobody's going to pay what that piece is worth if they've never seen me work like that before. So I did it as a trade
But they get to see
on
your-
another artist.
But they
and she
get to
tipped me
see
as a
your
trade
skill
piece.
set,
Also,
and
you get the
that's what's
experience.
appealing.
Yeah. And so it's like, and I was thinking like, what is the point of even doing this? Because like, this looks so cool, but who's ever going to pay $1,500, $2,000 for
You
this
would
little
be
bitty tattoo?
surprised.
So like, it was cool to be able to do that and have that experience and prove that I was capable of doing that, even surprise myself. And then now it's out there in the world, and I've even gotten a contact since then of somebody being like, hey, I saw that cool piece.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
can we do something similar? But
It may be.
They're
It may
investing
be.
in something
It may
that
be
has
far
won
less.
awards, and that's you know that's like that's a testament.
right, but I had to get it out there as
Right.
as a trade, because a lot of the stuff that comes in the door, it's like, hey, I want this little, $100, $200.
Wow.
Sometimes you have to grab those things and know, okay, now's the time for me to do this and give a free one away so people can see this side of me. And then you reach another pinnacle and you're like, I want to try this. So you do another one and you're like, I want people to see this side of it. So doing those little different things allows people to see your different styles that you're fully capable of doing. And it just drums business, because those people, and then you give them cards afterwards. You're like, here, pass these out. And they're your best advertisement, literally.
Yeah.
Because not only
They'll
have you
let everybody
done,
know it's
not
free.
only have you done something great for them, so they're gonna do that in return for you. And what they do is they go out and they pass out your card and they go, oh, I got this here. I got this from this person. Then you start seeing that influx of people messaging you going, hey, I saw this piece. And instantly it's going to clear. I'm like, man, I need to do this more often. Because
In business, that's called return on
and it
investment.
does. I mean, I've done it for years, and you build clients that way because your piece is seen by whoever, how many people they go around. Like for instance, just a good example, and this tickled me last night. I had a client message me, went to Ireland, and spent 2 weeks in Ireland, showing off one of my pieces, and wowed a bunch of Ireland artists.
That's
Going,
sick.
wow, that is amazing. Holy cow.
Are we all
who
going
did
to
that?
take a shop trip to
Right?
Ireland?
Right? And it's
Guest
and it
spot
was
in
just
Ireland?
like you feel good about that. You're like, holy cow, and these
Right.
artists
Like, that's a whole
reach
nother
out, they start
demographic.
following you.
Right.
And you're just like, wow, man, my piece went halfway around the world and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, that's
getting
insane.
props. You got to remember, some of these clients you tattoo, they have lives, they do different things, they travel, they go to different areas. Like I've got pieces that have gone to Guam and so people see this.
That's so cool.
And who's to say that you
Right.
don't have somebody that goes to Germany and somebody there sees it and then says, oh, hey, I'm going to be in the States, I want to get tattooed by this person.
That's
It
so cool.
happens. I mean, it's not more times than not, but I mean, those possibilities are there. So
And that's
It's a
just a
long
cool
game.
client. Like that
Right.
would be such
Well,
a cool
part of that
experience
is-
to have.
Part of that is like your art speaking for itself, but also developing that rapport and that positive relationship with your clients. Because
client.
if your client comes in and has a negative experience, even if they get extraordinary art from you, they're going to be hesitant to recommend people that they care about to come be stuck with you for 4 hours in
Yeah.
a chair, so I think that's part of it too, is having that trusting relationship and making sure that they feel like their needs are heard and they feel like they're they're receiving a quality piece
Yep.
from you in a safe environment. And
Yep.
Like
That
90% of
artist-client
tattooing is
relationship
customer service.
means everything.
yeah.
It's a
And-
long game, but
It
you've
is.
got it. You've already got it pretty well figured out. Like, I mean, you're doing the right things. It's just going to take time. And
It always
see
takes time.
all those
just
seeds that you've been
trust the
planting,
process.
and we've been watching from the outside. Like, you know, just keeping an eye. Like you move correctly. You're doing things right. It's just it'll take a little bit of time for those seeds to grow a little bit, but
So
but, you
far,
know,
so good though.
but
I'm feeling
don't-
good about
you're in a
it.
position where you don't necessarily have to just keep doing the things that people are going to respond to, or you know what I mean, like that people are wanting. You know, if you want to do, like, you have big color pieces, you have anime pieces, you have neo traditional, start pushing that. Like, do the
Throw
stuff
one
that
out,
people
one a month.
people come in and they want these, you know, these fine line or these small tattoos or whatever. Absolutely do them, but like a lot of artists, they don't post the things that they don't really want to push at that time. You know, like, don't feel obligated to share them online. Like, there's gonna have clients like, you didn't share my picture. Did
Oh,
you
I need to
hate it?"
stop doing that.
And it's like-
My
No.
clients hate me for that because I
Oh,
am
yeah.
so bad about
I'm
posting.
bad at it too. But
It's
like,
so
But
horrible.
a lot of it is just absent-minded. Like, no, I do like it. I just don't. You
Like,
know.
I just didn't like the picture. I'm sorry.
the vast majority of the
vast
time,
majority
yeah.
is because I don't like the way that the photos came out. It
It's-
has
Right,
nothing
yeah.
to do with the
Like, I'll
tattoo.
look at
It's
it
almost
sometimes.
always that the photo
photos.
is bad.
Oh, and I always take photos out there by the door too, and sometimes it'll reflect off of the, like, you know, whatever I'm using to wipe the tattoo with, and you just can't see it. I don't want to post it.
Nope,
Just don't
I
want to post
totally
that.
get it.
I do it all the time.
So you did Carnival of Ink with us. This was the first convention that you've done. There was we did an event at Moontown. It was like a rock show with, like,
That was fun. That was so
and,
cool.
and Clever Kaiju was set up doing live demonstrations, and then we also had tattoo artists. It was Kelsey and Mandy and Alexis that were all set up tattooing at a rock show, which is
It was fun.
to see both
It
of
was
my
loud.
children side by side.
But it was amazing.
It was so awesome. But you popped in, you came in, you hung out,
Mm-hmm.
and we even talked about, like, when you were going to you dip your toe into events or conventions and the like.
And I was like, I'm scared. I don't know.
But then you did a
did
freehand
fantastic.
piece at a convention,
Right?
You-
No
which is
joke.
like the ballsiest thing you can
It was
do at
fun.
a
Right,
convention.
Right here, let me do a freehand. Absolutely.
And
And
you
entered it.
killed it.
I didn't know what to put there.
and entered it. Like, I'd like to know what it placed, but it seemed like from the conversations it went well. Like, the judges
Yeah,
liked it.
They said it was
Yeah,
cool.
Kyle was saying it was
It was
sick.
cool, and it is cool. Like, you took Sharpies, you drew up like a whole squid on his arm, and you entered it. So, like, it was.
I had to
very-
enter something. I couldn't just go home without entering something. Haley did.
Between you know what? I was super proud of all you guys because you guys didn't have to go there and go that far. You guys literally, between you and Haley, I was just like, holy cow, check this out. This is so awesome.
Yeah.
Their
And to get a
first
couple
time
walk-ups
around,
too was nice.
Yeah,
and
it
you
was
really
guys
fun.
just you guys killed it. Straight
Did
up
you-
killed it.
Have a good time then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a great
Did it-
time.
Did it rest your nerves? Did it, like, did it like rewire how you felt about?
I have a way deeper appreciation. Like, I was super intimidated by, like, all the artists around me because everything was so good. And I was like, oh my God, everything's amazing. And I was like, I'm going to do that one day. By the end of it, I was like, I'm going to get there. I'm going to pick all of these people's brains.
Good for you.
Yeah, no, that's the point.
See
Could
what
you
they're
have-
doing.
I mean,
Because it's awesome to be around peers like that.
Mhm.
Because
Because
that
everybody
that
there
is
was super
such great
chill.
motivation to go, hey, I want to do this.
And they have absolutely no problem with telling you how they did it
right.
either,
Yeah.
which is so
It-
nice.
It has changed a lot.
It is
over time.
definitely not like it was
It's less
early on for
gatekeeping.
me
Okay, good.
because you would go and you would ask questions and they would literally turn their chair. Nobody wanted to tell you
Wow.
anything.
That sucks.
They didn't want to tell you what
Well, they
size
didn't have
Should
Needles
just
they were
throw
using,
popcorn at the back of
stroke.
their head if
They
they're going to
didn't
be
want
like
to tell
that.
you any type of technique, inks, nothing. They told you nothing. You had to just stand there and watch.
If the information is easily readily available anywhere else, and they'd rather, most people I think rather be like, you know what, I would rather be that point of influence or that positive.
I'd rather
experience
share than to not share.
I'd rather tell you how to do
Right.
it right than you go Google it and find something
Right,
weird
yeah.
from Meta AI and do it wrong.
And just sharing information is
Yeah,
always the best
absolutely.
way to go about it. I mean, things are going to get so much better the more you share information, and that, I think, has showed itself over the years. So, you know,
Nope.
But no, I mean, congratulations on everything you've been doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I know it's
wouldn't be here without you
It's
guys.
a struggle, but like at the same time, like I hope. Again, I've already said it several times, but you're doing the right things, and you're moving at the right pace.
I do
It's
get
just-
kind of nervous about that sometimes
it's
because there's
just-
like no right way to do things.
Well, part of it is you don't ever know what's going to stick. So like
Right.
you've drawn some amazing flash, but it's always kind of a game before the flash sale begins, like which one is going to be like
Right.
the one of the day that everybody gets, right?
What?
You drew that emo chicken and you drew a shrimp wearing a cowboy hat. And so
need to
like
get
of
those
all the
brand.
things, like everybody's like, man, that's a shrimp wearing a cowboy hat.
I
like
need that.
I never knew I needed it, but I need it now. And
We
so
did, yeah.
you don't ever know what's going to take off with people. And so if you keep putting it out there and putting it out there and like eventually it's going to resonate with somebody. They're going to see it on your board or they're going to see it on social media and they'll be like, oh, you know, that really cool, you know, nerd piece. You drew this cool avatar piece and I want it. Or this cool animal piece. I
Right.
want it. So you've
But-
got the illustration skills.
Post and push, even if you have to take a little bit of a hit just to get it on skin, and push and post the things that you want to work on at the time. The other stuff that you've done, people are going to search through your stuff. They're going to find it. They're going to find that fine line black work. They're going to find that, you know, and you'll be like, oh yeah, absolutely, let's do it. Like
I almost wish I could settle into like one style so people.
Well, we talk
like,
about
That's
this all the time.
That's hard
I
to
wish I
do
could.
it like
It's
year
so
2, year 3 though. And
It's
so
like, oh, what do
Right.
I want to do? Like
See,
everything's
that's what
so
makes
cool.
you an ink master. Right there.
Is
You
being able
learn
to
being able to do
affect-
multiple styles, unlike some of those artists that judge these things
Right.
that have, granted, they can look at line work, they can look at saturation, but they've not ever probably really jumped in and said, I'm
All
going
the-
to try this and do this and do
all the
this.
artists, the judges now, they're pretty well versed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Back in
yeah.
the day, no, they weren't.
Yeah, they each
Absolutely,
had
they
their own
were.
kind of forte. But
love
yeah,
Ryan
that's the thing.
Ashton.
It's like, you know, that's the blue collar side of it. Is that, you know, at least in my case, I just wanted to be good enough to not suck, and I wanted to be useful, and I wanted to be effective. Even I'm just like, man, it'd be kind of cool if I had like a thing that made me stand out. I'm confident it'll happen. There's been already a couple of pieces that.
But you know,
I
those
really
things
feel
that
like-
you're talking about, those are everything that you learn. That's what develops your style.
Right. And
That's
it's
what
usually
makes
not
you
on me
stick
to
out
decide
because
what that is.
Because
Everybody
I
else
like
is
to
like, you
think
did this
that
thing. Like, oh, yeah,
when
I
I
guess I did, didn't I?
tattoo, I don't tattoo like everybody else. I really honestly don't. Like I know one of my tattoos, not just because like if I was out in public, because I don't really recognize a lot of things that I do. If I were to run across something or to like even Tim Richardson's pieces, I can pick those out. Why? Because he has a distinctive style in the way he
Right.
tattoos that I know that's him.
And people recognize that on social media too. Like if you have a consistent vibe that you're going for, like people will see that that's you and they can recognize and tell other people that that's
It does
you.
make it much more
Interesting.
easy to market when you have like a niche and a corner that you're in. But I think a lot of times that style development, unless you're like, you know, there's always that kid that like comes out of the womb being like, I'm going to be a weatherman. You know, there's always that person that knows what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah,
most
it'd be
people,
that.
it's like, you try a bunch of different things and like there's styles you think you're going to love and then you try it and you're like, oh, this is just works so different on skin. Maybe it's not my jam or it's too tedious or it's not tedious enough. And then after you've repeated and done things enough times, then it will kind of start to have like its own flavor to it. And I don't think you can pressure yourself to have like a corner or a style.
No,
when
because
you're just like so
because
fresh and
those
new,
little
you know?
things that you do with one style, you find yourself meshing with a whole nother style,
Right.
And,
And
that's how you build your style of.
Well, that's
artwork.
neo-traditional too.
you-
Neo-traditional
yeah.
hasn't been around for 100 years.
No,
Right.
no,
Like
God, no.
people
You-
were combining things until it became a thing.
You've
The thing,
already
exactly.
been doing that, and that's
Yeah,
I mean, that,
yeah.
when I was
Important to
talking
study.
about your flash, you know, it's like you had like a black work mixed with like I was talking about the bat face,
Oh, I love him.
that black work neo traditional hybrid that you did that stood out. He did 3 that day.
I haven't done one of those yet. Maybe next
you and
time.
I did emo chickens.
Yeah,
and
they
we
were
did,
fun.
and we did cowboy shrimps. You have a very like. It
Yeah,
was
I did
al-
3 of them.
It was
the
almost
bats.
American
that's
traditional,
perfect,
but
though.
it was a little bit neo and a little bit black work, and it was fascinating. It was interesting.
You just learn
But
a
it's
lot,
cool
you know?
because when somebody like you drew it, I can go in and tattoo it one way. She can tattoo it a whole different way. He can tattoo it a different
Yeah.
way.
It was fun to see the differences in our
It
emo
was.
You're getting to
chickens.
see a piece of line work turn into 3 different
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Because it's what you interpret from that and what you choose to apply to it that makes it.
That's such a
own.
valuable learning experience. I wonder if we ought to do that. Like next time we have a flash sale or something, just like as an exercise to just sit down and look at those together and be like, look, we all took this thing. We went different directions. Why did you make that artistic choice? How
Right.
did you arrive at that? That's
That would
so
be
cool.
I think that would be awesome.
Because like the way I explain it to people that aren't tattoo artists is if you had the same coloring sheet and you hand it to 50 people in a classroom, you're not going to have two that look the same. But tattooing even more so because the line weight isn't chosen for you.
Right.
And the line stylization isn't chosen for you. So it's like giving people the coloring sheet with a piece of tracing paper over it and telling them to draw all of it and then color it. But it's even more so than that, even like the way you place it and the way the flow hits. And
your choice of needle groupings, everything.
It would be so fun if we did like a little thing where we did like a video and all of us get like the same prompt and then we all draw like what we think from that prompt.
That'd be cool
I want to see it
too.
so bad. I've been
We
wanting to do
need
that
to
for a while.
set Ryan loose with our social media.
Yeah.
Because
I got time.
she's young and stuff.
Right? We can do that for sure.
All right, we got to wrap up because we've got exciting things happening today.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
That's
so
fun.
real quick, where can everybody find you on the interwebs?
Facebook, Stephanie Gilliam. That's my first name. Sorry, it's weird. On
Can you spell Stephanie for everybody?
Stevani, and then Gilliam is Gilliam. And then Instagram, I am Deadhead Design. I am also Deadhead Design on, I'm Deadhead Tattoo on Instagram, Deadhead Design on Tumblr, and I think those are all the ones I have.
On
right
your
now.
Instagram, does it have like periods or?
It does have
underscores?
periods,
Can
yeah.
you? What is it?
Dead period head period tattoo.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All
Yeah,
right,
they took
cool.
my handle already. I was so sad by the time I got to Instagram.
That's tricky. Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right.
Ryan,
and
it's
we-
awesome to have you. Thank you for doing
Yes.
this. I know
it was so
a-
fun.
It was a
It was
big
so fun.
ask, but you did it.
Right.
We look forward to having you in the future.
I would love to do this
give
again.
some
That was
updates
fun.
or
Especially when we
whatever,
have
so.
more time. Like this was
Yeah.
cool. This was
Yeah.
cool.
But we're really proud of you.
Thank you.
And you've made so much progress.
I
with
literally
this.
would not have gotten anywhere if you guys didn't take me on. So,
It's,
give yourself some credit.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.